I'm John DeSando.
Cinema, 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 cinema. Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio. We'll watch the credits from up high and low. Cinema Classics on end.
Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando. It airs Thursdays at 8:01 p.m. on WCBE 90.5 FM. Listen to shows and read reviews online at wcbe.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm K G Kline.
And this is Cinema Classics. Well, Ken, first of all, we'll congratulate ourselves, of course, because our podcast has been listed as in the top 10 that is of NPR. All right.
That is just wonderful.
Yeah.
That's humbling to know that NPR has rated us so highly, and we're very, very thankful. I'm sure that goes for everybody else involved in the show.
It does. Now let's get down to serious matters here. We are doing a movie today called Drive Away Dolls.
Drive Away Dolls.
And the very title will tell you how really kinky this movie is.
And that is a good word for it. That really is a good word for it.
For me, I need someone with your brain to be here because I'm so conflicted about it as a movie. And we'll talk about that in a minute. If you'll just kind of start us
what
off.
I want to start off by saying is the one area of film that has evolved the most in the last couple of years has been LGBTQ representation. There's been a dramatic change, all for the better, in the amount of LGBTQ interest films that have come out and the representation of the LGBTQ community in film today. And LGBTQ is now mainstream. And never more so than with this film. This by Ethan Coen formerly of the Coen brothers. They parted company about 4 years ago.
Yeah, and this is his first.
His second. He did a documentary on Little Richard or Chubby Checker.
Right.
And when you see bands parting company, usually they become very prolific because they've got a whole volume of stuff they want to do that they couldn't do because the partner or the other members didn't want to do it. And that really hasn't been the case with the Coen brothers. Joe Coen did this Macbeth with Frances McDormand as Lady Macbeth. But that was his wife, and that was sort of a dead end. It was very good, but I don't see his career going in a direction based on that movie. This is Ethan's attempt to get his career back on track now as a solo director and solo writer.
And he's dipping into the Coen mystique here.
He is. A lot of the Coen tropes are very present in this. If you've been waiting and holding your breath for a Coen movie, I think you can now go and breathe again.
And I think one of the characteristics of this is it is goofy. And what's goofy? One of the goofy things about this is it's co-written by his wife, Tricia Cook, who is a lesbian. So get that one.
We'll just leave that on the table there.
I know, but although it's a Coen, I would expect it. So. And
this is a lesbian interest movie. It is intended for a general audience, but it is very, very definitely a lesbian-directed story. And it's an homage to the exploitation films of the early 70s. That's what Ethan's really doing with this. But remember, those exploitation films in the 70s had two things going for them. They were vulgar and they were sleazy.
Oh, yeah.
They were just one step above the porn house cinemas.
Oh, I know.
And Ethan Coen cannot do vulgar and sleazy to save his life. So this is definitely a huge step up, much more polished, much more professional, much better acted than those exploitation films that he's trying to pay tribute to.
And just let me generally say that it is, by a lot of standards, very funny movie. I don't find it funny. I do find it historically interesting. I think he did a great job replicating that area and those cheap movies.
Yes.
But I'm not sure. I can't even throw myself back. That was just a kidster when it was coming out. But of course, we were at that time we were really how should we say? We were just in love with anything that was odd and sexy that we couldn't see.
And those early 70s films were full of that. I mean, they could get away. You could never get away with the dialogue and the language and the words that were used in those movies back in the early 70s. You wouldn't even get a distributor today.
Yeah, so you got two lesbies who are taking a road trip south.
Yes,
They're going south in every way that you could.
You have Jamie and you have Marion. Jamie is played by Margaret Qualley, who we know from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She played Pussycat, the actress that held her own against Brad Pitt in those great scenes. And she is over-the-top physical actress, very much in the style of Margot Robbie, definitely on her way. And this movie puts her to good use.
Yeah, so she really anchors this movie, although many people are in love with her co-star.
And the character is Marion. Do you want to take a stab at that name?
No, see, notice how I did that.
You dodged
This
that
is
one.
why we're a top 10.
Okay.
I just was kind of slowly letting you take that.
Well, let's make an attempt at it. Her name is Geraldine Visha, oh gee.
Yeah, Viswanathan or something.
Geraldine Vishwanathan.
Yes.
We've seen her in a couple of lower budget films already. Now, the best way to describe what this movie is about is it is about these two, probably 20-somethings, I would say.
Yeah.
They're both lesbians. Jamie, Margaret Qualley, has just broken up with her girlfriend as the movie opens and is determined to reset her life and she makes the comment, I don't think love is relevant to the 20th century lesbian anymore. And then she's got her uptight girlfriend, not girlfriend, but friend, Marion, who is very, very reserved, very conservative, who has decided that she's going to pitch it all and go spend a little time with her grandmother down in Tallahassee, Florida. At which point, Jamie immediately jumps in and latches herself onto this trip and says, we're going to take this trip together. We're going to rebuild our lives together.
And the Qualley's character,
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie is a free lover.
Jamie is a free spirit.
Perfect for what we were so excited about when we were younger. And this is free love. And here's a woman who expresses the joy of sex. And now that we're mating two females, this is outrageous.
And they are polar opposites in just about every possible way, except for the fact that they are both lesbians.
Right. So how outrageous is it? Believe me, your 13-year-old could go and would probably go ho-hum. The makeout sessions are so pathetically slow and uninteresting. And they, in fact, they have, which is a great premise, they have the girls' soccer team, is it?
There's a girls' soccer team, and there is a lot of stereotypes at play in this movie. And one thing I got to hand it to Ethan Coen, though, is throughout this movie as I'm watching it, I keep asking myself, am I offended? Has he done a stereotype? Has he introduced something that I find offensive? And the answer in every step was no. No, he's doing this for fun. And the thing that saves him is that the men in the movie are much more pompous and much more stupid than the women.
And look at, again, he gets it historically correct, because this is the way they were treated in the exploitation movies as well.
Yes.
They were just plain dumb.
Yeah. The men are like stormtroopers in the Star Wars movies, whereas the women, who are almost all exclusively lesbians, are all depicted as much smarter, got their game together, know what's going on, and this is what saves this movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think you're right. Coen has been successful in so many ways. It's just not my kind of humor. I just don't, Ken. I don't think I know Wayne had one laugh. When you get only one laugh out of Wayne.
I laughed out loud probably 4 or 5 times through this movie.
I knew you would.
Yeah. Now, I will say, and this is for our audience, this is a movie that you want to watch all the way to the very last credit. Because at that last second, that last thing up on the screen is a dedication that is key to understanding the whole point of this movie.
Okay.
So I'm not going to give away, I'm not going to reveal anything, but I'm going to say, you're going to watch this movie and you're going to think this movie is about one thing, But if you stay to the end of the credits, it's not an Easter egg, it's just a dedication. Once you see that, you realize there's more to this movie than you thought there was.
Oh yeah, and I have friends who have an idea about this lesbian road trip is about, and they just simply won't go see it.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and that's where I find it just so strange for people who say they love movies. I went to this. I was initially nonplussed at least, and just looking at it, and I'm always worried about me and comedy because I just am so tough on it, and I wasn't laughing. But I think you hit on what's important to me is that I appreciate it. I appreciate the movie. I appreciate what Cohen is doing. I appreciate his success in this, even though it isn't my sense of humor.
And it's not going to be a movie for everybody. But I think the movie is better than some other critics have said. I definitely enjoyed the movie. I thought it now ranks among my preferred Cohen films. There's a lot of Cohen films I'm not crazy about. He can keep inside Desmond
Well, let's hope on that for our award-winning podcast.
Well, yes.
So, K G Kline, what do you think about Drive Away Dolls?
I think Drive Away Dolls is an enjoyable film. It has several very good funny moments, great performances, particularly by Margaret Qualley, but stay to the very last moment of the credits for a wake-up.
I'm John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some